Good morning. So today we're looking at finally getting around to changing the discs and pads on the front. Been wanting to do this for a little while, but obviously been preoccupied with other important jobs. But as we're starting to get a little bit closer to the end of this project with this 2005 Jaguar S-Type 3-litre V6 Sport, makes sense to start tackling this. So I'm going to plan to do the fronts, and then on another occasion I'll do the rears, and then we can start putting on the wheels and actually start using the car and get it cleaned up and just doing the final few jobs, which would be great. So what we're going to be looking at to do today is start off stripping off the hardware. So I believe we've got a 12mm bolt here and also here, just to release the caliper. We've then also got a 15mm here, and there's one further down as well which you can feel for, to actually remove the rest of it and free up the carrier here. You can see we've got quite a lot of corrosion on this, so it's going to need a lot of cleaning up, I think, before it goes back on. Got a few star sort of washers here and here holding the disc on, otherwise it's floating. I've got some new ones of them because that one's starting to rust. Surprise, surprise. I'm also expecting her to fight coming off here, so rather than traumaing the disc and damaging the wheel hub, I've actually got a tool, one of the many tools I'm using today, where we can actually pull the brake disc off nice and cleanly using this tool here. So handy disc puller. So I'm expecting her to fight me because of the corrosion. Breaker bar over here, and then some nice new hardware. Look at this. So these are APEC, mid-range, not premium but not budget. So we've got all the brake disc pads in here. Got the clips as well. And it looks like we've got some spare bolts in here just in case. And then we've got the APEC discs. So because it's a sport model, this takes a 320 rather than a smaller 305, so always worth checking before you purchase. But I know I've already checked, so that's great. So I've got all the hardware, I've got all the tools, so I guess it's probably just a case of cracking on and getting on with it. Okay, the caliper's now removed and safely hanging up, so we're not stressing out the ABS or the brake line. See, we've got two pistons. Needs a bit of cleaning up, it's got a bit of corrosion in there. That's fine, we'll get a wire brush on that. Looking at these brake pads, wow, it looks like it's just not done any mileage for a while, because we've got plenty of wear on them, so it's almost as if someone's changed them and then not used it much, and then a car's sat around maybe for a year or so. But I'm going to replace them anyway. Just looking at these should just lift out. So you can see we've got these little clips on there, so they'll just need changing. That's fine. Let's put it down there, and then got this one. Let's bring you down a bit. That's better. Then you got this one here. Yeah, not a huge amount of wear on these pads. Caliper's a little bit stiff to get off, so hence why I've got my trusty rubber mallet. It's just due to the corrosion. I think the real fun one will probably be this one, and I will need to inspect the sliders, because I just hope they're not too badly corroded on the inside. These little cover things should just pop off, and then we'll inspect them. But first of all, I just want to release the bolt here, 15mm here, 15mm here. These will be on quite tight, so I'm actually going to use my breaker bar, which is why I've got the hub and wheel turned in to the right to give me better access. So we'll release them, and then after that we'll remove the star washers using some needle nose pliers. Okay, so the bolts are out. So what we've got in here, we've got the actual sliders themselves, and this has just got a little lid. These little star washers, if you use some needle nose pliers, and when they flush in there, just gently push to try and angle it away, then these will actually unscrew, move out just enough to give you some space, and then once you've got it clear, of course, you can then carry on and just untwist. So here's the big daddy, just literally slides apart, slightly spring loaded to be helpful, and let's mount that first and get that into position. So it's spring loaded, so hopefully it will stay on. These can do up to 400mm, these ones. So make sure it gets a good grip. That's happy with that. And then got this bit to go in, which just sits flush where the center should go, the wheel hub, and then this should just slide in through here. Well, I say slide in, screw in perhaps. Okay, got it aligned. Really important that this sits flush with the hub, because we don't want to cause any damage there. And what I'm going to do is put a little bit of pressure on it now with this, tighten it up and see if we can crack it off. If necessary, I'll use my breaker barb. I'm hoping that won't be, but it's an option because it's a 20mm fixture, so that's quite firmly. It's checking that everything's aligned properly. Oh, there you go. So here's our hub. That's going to need cleaning up a little bit here to get it back into true. That should be fine. Yeah, looks like it just sits on. Actually, it's not too bad actually. Okay, the hub's cleaned up. I've used some brake cleaner on it, and also some of my metal drill cleanup bits. Small one for the edges and a large one for the center there, so that's all nice and clean and smooth. I'm pretty happy with that. And if I just come over here, what I've done, and I've treated the caliper, well, the slidey thing, with a good dollop of Jenolite. Having sanded it all down, I thought it's likely to get corroded again, so I'm just waiting for that to flash off. And then what I'll do is I'll pull out the sliders there, and I'll lube them up with some of my silicone grease, the dielectric grease that I have, the silver hook grease, and that will be fine. And then I'll start prepping up the hub with some red rubber grease, and we'll start fitting the new hardware. Okay, clean these up a little bit as well. What I'm going to do first before I start lubing everything up is just use these to compress the two little pistons. I won't go back very far because, as I say, the brake discs look reasonably recent. I've taken the lid off the brake reservoir under the bonnet, just so that any brake fluid is free to travel back up. So I'm just going to slot this neatly in here, and then I'm just going to give her a turn. Yep, I'm pretty happy this is completely flat. So I'll go and release this and start prepping the surfaces. Just going to prep up the surfaces. I've got some good old red rubber grease, so I'm going to use that on these. Not for sliding use, but definitely for boots, things like this, to make sure that everything is nice and protected and lubricated. Excellent. I'm quite happy with that. Okay, so red rubber grease applied all around here and also on these as well. Calipers sort of flashed off mostly, so just releasing these sliders. They're coming out quite nicely. So what I'll do is I'll clean them up, bit of brake fluid, bit of kitchen roll, and then I'll reload them with some silicone grease, dielectric grease. High temperature as well, so up to 200 centigrade. So that should all be good. Let's go and get that done now. So sides are greased with this silicone grease. Other products are available. And then all I've done is put some red rubber grease around these boots. That's fine. But remember, no red rubber grease on the sliders, because it's not the right stuff and it'll cause them to go too sticky. So now I think it's a case of just fitting up the new brake disc and then onto the pads and caliper. So preparing the brake pads, they just need to have a little clip fitted on either ends. So the old ones have. This is the new one. So all I'm going to do is line up this little clip here. And if you look on, it just slots in here. But if you look on here, there's a raised bit, and the raised bit does actually match just here. So the way the clip will go on, and I won't be able to do this single-handedly, it should just pop on. Let's move around a bit, just like so. So I've just offered them up to the bracket here. I've not fully tensioned these up to 103 Newton meters yet. I've just done them past finger tight, just so I can loosely fit everything. These are looking pretty good, so I think I will then look to tension up now using my torque wrench, and then I should be able to offer up the caliper itself, and then I should be able to just offer this up here. Essentially, I'm looking to line it up here, but also with the bolt just here. So that seems to have gone in quite well. I think that needs to be round the other way. So I'll need to just move that round. That needs to be flush with that. And then the same with the one down there. So I'll just do that just now. Okay, so that's now aligned here and also just here. And I'll just check to make sure that the bottom one goes in as well. Making sure I've got that aligned correctly. Right, so these have now been torqued up to 32 here and here. The other ones, the big ones, were 103. That's all nice and solid. The disc spins around okay. Now, despite having the washers, star washers there, it doesn't sit, the disc doesn't sit flush until you have the wheel on with the bolts. But when you press down and turn it, it's fine. Seems to be absolutely fine. Okay, I did promise we'd use the DTI gauge, so here it is set up. A couple of things to note. The magnetic block here only sticks to steel, it won't stick to anything else. So I've just got that on the anti-roll bar, just perched on there. It's switched on. I've then adjusted the arm so that the dial test gauge tip just here is pointing away from the direction of travel, so we don't get any pressure readings interfering with what we want to measure. The dial test gauge itself, I pulled this out slightly, pushed it in, then set it to 0, so that should say, with any luck, should say 0. And hopefully, as I move around, we may see a minor variation, hopefully not too much. To make sure I've got the disc perfectly flush against the wheel hub, I've actually put these new wheel nuts on, so we know we've got that perfectly flush, or as best we can. So looking at the spec sheet down here, we've got 0.015mm tolerance for the hub, but obviously we're measuring a disc, and for the disc, that is, hopefully it's coming out, the disc is 0.076 tolerance. So we don't really want to see any readings here go above 0.07. So let's have a go at moving the disc around slowly. Kind of hoping we're not going to get anything Nothing so far. Oh, what's that? Can't quite see. Is that 0.03? Keep going round. You get the gist anyway. Okay, I've taken another reading from here, a bit further on the disc, and I set it to 0, and then just turn that around. So you can see -1, -2, -3, -4, -6, -3, -2, -1. So you can see there, we've got about a difference of -0.05. So I'm happy, having taken several readings with the DTI gauge, that we've got this within a tolerance of 0.076. If you found this helpful, please consider giving it a like, and if you're not subscribed, maybe subscribe to follow along with this Project S-Type that I'm working on and the other cars on the fleet. And I think we've probably got a few more videos to go on this one. I've got the rear brakes to do, and a wing mirror and a couple other bits, but we're getting there slowly. The majority of the car, I'd say, is nearly done, which is really encouraging. So anyway, thanks very much. Until the next one, see you soon.